Hi, welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda, and here are the DIYs I'm working on today. For this one, you will need some kind of a vase, and this one came with my anniversary flowers that hubby got me this year. And also, I'm using the lid off of this jar that I got at Goodwill for $1. These were really prevalent in the 90s, so you can usually find these at thrift stores and Goodwill. And I'm using this wooden round decorative piece. I think it's supposed to go on wreaths, and it came from Dollar Tree. The first thing you'll need to do is remove that plastic piece that goes on the lid, and it really easily just popped right off with a screwdriver. I'm going to use Rust-Oleum Linen White chalk paint to paint the wooden round that I got from Dollar Tree, but first I wanted to cover that hole that is in the wooden round or fill it more. And I used caulk that is from the Dollar Tree, but really I think spackle would have done better, and they have that at the Dollar Tree as well. When you're gathering your pieces to make this project, it's just important that your wood round is big enough for whatever vase you find, that the vase will sit on top of the wood round and not hang over the edge. It took 2 coats of the chalk paint to cover the design on the wood round. Next, I'm going to use one of those tiny little flower pots that you get at the Dollar Tree. I think they come in a pack of 3, and this one had a chip in it, but that was okay. It didn't bother me too much. And I'm going to dry brush some of that white chalk paint onto the flower pot. Then I filled the flower pot with some of that Spanish moss that I got at the Dollar Tree, and it doesn't take very much since this pot is so small. And I'm going to hot glue it to the bottom of the wood round. Then I clipped off some pieces of a branchy type floral that I believe I got at Hobby Lobby, and it only takes a couple pieces, but pick whatever kind of floral you would like. I just liked that this one kind of looked like branches. And so I clipped some of those off and put them down in my flower pot. Now to assemble the cloche part, I used E6000 on the top of the vase, which will now become the bottom. So the open end of the vase, I put the E6000 around the rim, and then I put it down on top of my flower pot and secure it into place. And then the top of that jar lid will become the decorative piece on the top of the cloche, and I'm going to use E6000 around the bottom of that vase to secure the lid in place. And that's it, just from a Goodwill find and an empty vase, I had my very own farmhouse cloche. Now I want to take a minute to show you the newest addition to my house. It is the Theodore standing desk that I got from Flexispot. And this desk is special because it has a keypad that will allow it to raise up and down. So if you are sitting and you want to stand, your desk can raise with you. This is an especially awesome feature for anyone who might be working from home and has to put in long hours sitting at a desk like I do when I'm editing videos. It has a nice deep extra large drawer, which you see can fit this entire large notebook. I believe it could even fit my whole laptop inside of it. And a bonus with this desk are 3 USB ports so that you can charge your devices while you're working. The keypad is really easy to use, and it's such a smooth transition from sitting to standing. It will go as high as 49 inches and as low as 29.5 inches. I'm so impressed with how this desk works, but also I'm equally impressed in how nice it looks. I am loving how this is transforming this area that I have into my newest workspace that I use for editing all of my YouTube videos. And because I can raise it up anytime I want to, I can also use it as a craft area. I am so happy with my new desk and my new editing station, and if you would like to get your very own desk, there is a link in my description box so that you can get $15 off your order with Flexispot. I have always wanted some corbels in the corners of my doorway going from my living room to my kitchen, but they can be very pricey, especially the kind that I want. And they had these corbels at the Dollar General store, $7 a set, and I thought I could put them together by 2 sets, so I got $14 in it, and put 2 of them together to make them nice and chunky like I want them to be. I used the Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks to stick the 2 corbels together. To make the 2 corbels look like it's one fat chunky corbel, I'm going to hide the seam using wallboard joint compound. You could use spackle and maybe caulk, maybe not caulk, but yeah, spackle or this wallboard compound worked really well. So I used a lot of this on the corbels because they don't exactly match up perfectly. There was a little bit of a height difference, so I had to put a lot of this joint compound on, but it makes a very old world style texture if you like that look. Next, you'll need to let your joint compound or spackle dry overnight and come back in and sand it to the smoothness that you want. Now, if you like the older style, more beat up, worn look, then you won't need to sand as much, but I wanted mine pretty smooth. After you've sanded your corbels to the texture that you like, now it's time to paint them. I did 2 coats all over the corbels, and I used a lot of paint. I was heavy-handed with the paint because I wanted my corbels to look old and kind of plastery, so I wanted my paint to be thick. And I had to use my small artist style paintbrushes to get in those little grooves and cracks. Now the distressing is what brings these corbels to life. This is the most fun. So I used different kinds of sandpaper. I used a sanding block. I used the sandpaper. I even used a nail file to get in some of the harder to sand places. And I did like worn out edges, and I sanded down those brush stroke marks from the paintbrush. And here's the final product, $14 for the set. I'm so happy. I haven't hung them in the corners of my doorway just yet because I need to refresh the paint on my trim, but here they are looking so cute anyway. Thanks for stopping by to see me. If you're interested in more farmhouse DIYs, click the link over here beside my face, and I'll see you next time. Bye.